Welcome to Momentum Monday.
No, I'm just moving the show. I'm watching Game of Thrones, to be honest. I'm following this. Speaking of Netflix, it's my new fave idea. I think I talked about it last week, but
Really? Is your
yeah.
new favorite idea?
Yeah, it's my favorite idea because it really hasn't gone anywhere for 3, 4 years. A lot of volatility, but from where it was 3, 4 years ago, um,
Basically 2020, yeah.
the difference in where this is as a business model and competition, is just so much further ahead than it was four
Or they're
years
making
ago.
3 times more money than in
It's not just
2020.
that they've figured out the password stuff. They've figured out um, their printing cash. And they've figured out um, charging for ads. So they've kind of figured out the churn. It's never going to be cheap at this point. I think the era of volatility, they shipped their last DVD in the mail. So they finally, cut that off. They just basically have one job. And I do think I don't know how you stop them. And I think AI, as I've talked about, is just going to help them the most,
You
right?
think so?
When you have endless content, uh, and the algorithms will just get better.
So you're
TikTok figured it
saying
out.
when we have endless content, there'll be more like a curator in a way, just picking.
Yeah, yeah. And but not cheap. Like, listen, if the market goes up, I have a feeling this is going to have a big couple of years. That's my gut. Spotify's the same chart. Really interesting because Spotify, uh,
Yeah, similar.
pretty much the same chart.
Yeah.
Like, uh, and they're both. If I were to choose between the one, I've chosen Netflix. I've owned Spotify in the past. I should just have held it. Um,
60
but
billion versus how many? 280. So you're not
uh,
afraid that uh, let's say some AI app comes out with the capability that any single person on the face of Earth can create their own movie and their own show just by typing a few prompts.
yeah, I think that's TikTok. So TikTok has a better. So yeah, no. First of all, that's not happening. Second, they won't have the distribution that Netflix has. And then third, Netflix is going to get into
But what
verticals.
if it's
Anyway,
free entertainment? Okay, either way, let's go
yeah,
let's go back to the
it's
market.
just interesting that Spotify and Netflix look the same, and obviously the Qs continue to be strong. So
Well, they're in
that's
the
just
same business, right?
well,
The attention business. I
no.
mean, when it comes to the indices, basically they're treading water here near all-time highs, just consolidating in a tight range. Obviously, market breadth is, I mean, not obviously, but market breadth has been a little bit decreasing, going down, not really confirming those new highs. But so far, this bull market is just being held by constant sector rotations. Every single week, we have a new industry breaking out and leading. And for example, last week, that was solar,
Yeah,
which
we talked
has
about
been
for
a,
solar. What a run that's had.
yeah, has been a huge dog for the past 3 years or so. And then all of a sudden last week, starting with the first solar the previous Friday, it just broke out on huge volume. And it's like a very powerful industry move, even though it's from near 52-week lows. I wouldn't be surprised if it continues because many of those solar stocks are highly shorted. Some of them are probably undervalued. And now if the tide is turning, we'll probably see some more action here going on in that whole sector. Obviously, First Solar went up 40% in a few days
Oh
last
my
week.
goodness. We talked about this at like 170.
Yeah.
I was talking about.
But then obviously pay attention to the other solars as well. Like obviously they're not going to make the same moves, but they're kind of setting up as well, even the Chinese ones. So it's just the whole sector, I think, remains in play for the next few weeks. The other big story was the approval of the Ethereum ETF. Obviously, that led to a huge rally in Ethereum. Some of the other
Yeah.
crypto names. Bitcoin also rallied. I think personally, my favorite way to play Bitcoin right now is this one, BITX, which is a 2x Bitcoin strategy, just for swings. To me, it makes more sense to trade this than to own the actual Bitcoin and pay, you know, super high fees, obviously depending on where you trade it. And this one offers 2 times the move. What else? Obviously, Nvidia was the big earnings move. They surprised again, record earnings for the NTN time. I think they're probably headed to become the most valuable company in terms of market cap.
Yeah.
I think Apple is a little bit ahead of them, and Nvidia is 2.66 trillion. Apple is 2.9, so only about 10% away. And then
Didn't see that coming.
Then you have
Yeah,
Microsoft at 3.2, so about 20% away from being having the biggest market cap in the world, which can easily happen. I think the way things are going, especially with the 10-to-1 split that they announced. Go ahead, Howard.
it's fascinating. I mean, the 10-to-1 split, you know, it just are, I mean, they're just, the market's kowtowing to Nvidia. Rarely, you know, we saw this happen with Apple for 5-6 years, and now the market is just bowing to Nvidia. As it does, it bows to earnings, it bows to growth.
For a good reason. I mean,
Yeah,
they're still so far
very
ahead.
few companies have made the market bow to it. Apple, Facebook for a very
Everyone
little
is trying
bit.
to catch up with Nvidia and Nvidia's chips,
Yeah.
and Nvidia is basically competing with itself and producing a new chip every year. So maybe it will take 3-4 years for the competition to really catch up. It's not going to happen that quickly, as people tend to believe.
It's grown earnings 30 times since
Unbelievable,
2018.
yeah. Like
It's really,
2020, $1.45.
yeah. Oh, that's
2026
expectation. So, you know, we've seen this happen before,
expectations.
though, with
Yeah,
chip companies. But anyways, what do I know? That's why I own the Qs. I can't. This was the 84th largest company in the world 3 years ago. And now it's second or third largest. This just doesn't happen.
third, yeah.
You know, it just doesn't happen. So congratulations to the people that have ridden it. It just looks super strong here.
Anything related
And
to AI has been super strong. Really, if you pull up the list of stocks that at least doubled year to date, basically most of them are related to AI, and then a few biotechs. Either it's like cooling or other equipment, anything that doubled, or servers like SMCI, Dell, anything really related to AI just remains the theme.
you know what's not related to AI? Deckers.
Yeah, I mean, Deckers obviously huge moves. Yeah,
You know, it's the
every
opposite of that.
single every
Deckers.
single nurse
Deckers, I own that
wears
in
them.
in degenerate ETF, and it's just I'm just so happy. There's really it's being driven by one brand. Like Uggs isn't working. A lot of their old brands aren't working. It's just fucking Hoka,
It
whatever
is
those
Hooker.
stupid ugly shoes. Yeah.
And I'm telling you,
500 million in sales. 500 million in sales the last quarter. What the hell?
every single nurse is
They bought
wearing
that company for
those
like
at
$1.
work. Is wearing those Hooker shoes at work, and this is currently popular. It's not going to be popular 2-3 years from now. So this trend is going to
Yeah.
end obviously before that.
No, but they're a roll-up. They're like the American Midwest LVMH. They talk
Yeah,
about
and
it for a
Crocs is
long time.
doing
And then
really
Crocs is,
well
yeah,
too, though. Yeah,
not well, fantastic. This is a
breaking out.
condom
Yeah,
shoe. This is a shoe made out of condoms. And yeah, I mean, I think what we're saying here, and if we go to Goldman, and Google, it's just there's a lot working. Like again, it's just the Goldilocks market, right?
there's a
Like
lot
it
working,
won't.
but also we're starting to see a pickup in volatility, as you can see here. Gold, giving up some gains. Goldman Sachs also pulling back.
Uh-huh. It was a hell of a run. It just ran up 40%,
Yeah,
off December.
exactly. So it's normal to see pullbacks. That's why I'm saying one of
Yeah,
the main.
you got to watch your entries here. Like,
Yeah,
listen, it's fun. And I think my favorite entry has been Netflix. You know, I can't own everything. I missed the first solar run. We talked about it because I just don't. But
But you
You
haven't
know,
missed the
this,
entire solar move, so there's still time to participate, I
yeah,
think, in the
but
next few weeks.
I'm not going to chase I think that the swing trader's
Not for
dream for
solar,
you.
obviously, yeah.
No, I mean for you who are watching the market, but I can't do the work. First Solar was a relative strength leader. We pointed it out, and sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. Did you trade that at all, Ivan?
Yeah, I had some
We
calls
talked about it like three,
for
4
solar.
weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Like it was just
I
so
have I
obvious.
have calls in several different solar stock like JKS, also NPH,
Yeah,
and I'll probably buy more tomorrow.
I think if you're watching the screen, follow Ivan on some swing trades. But on terms of trend trades, the trend is just working. I just want to make sure I don't own too many stocks because there's an
Do you have any
inevitable.
hedges right now?
Yeah, cash is my hedge. I'm probably 80% long, and for me, that's like tippy top of how I want to be long the market. I go between 30 and 80%. So I'm at the high end. But again, most of it, what I have is direct indexing. So I'm like maxed out over like 10 or 12 stocks right now. And Netflix was a new one.
Okay.
But MMYT continues to,
Yeah,
lead the trend.
MMYT, the travel team remains strong, even though it's normal
Yeah.
to pull back here to its rising 20-day.
Yeah, but it had to. Yeah, it
Booking
had to pull
setting
back.
up, they also announced a split coming up.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and the other one, this
Desperado.
bigger.
Yeah. And then there was C-Trip T-Com.
Yeah.
That desk looks good. I may have to trade that.
Yeah, that
T-Com.
is looking good. It's been looking good for a while. It's just
Ooh,
breaking
may
out,
have to
building new
try that.
bases. Um,
Yeah,
there's still a
people should,
lot, there's still quite a
if
few
you're gonna
names.
swing, this would be one to swing. Look at the volume pickup here, Ivan, from like
Yeah,
10 to 15.
definitely the big earnings breakout.
Yeah, yeah, man, I'm gonna trade that.
Obviously anything related to AI is still hot. Here's MU setting up near its 52-week highs,
Yeah,
near
you're in that,
130.
right?
Yeah,
You're
I'm in
in
that. I own that. I also
that.
own this one, which I think also is AI related. Also, potentially building a new base. I think it needs to break out
Yeah.
above 60, 61 to really get going. It's
I own a
kind of,
little bit of MRVR. I've owned it for a while.
yeah, I was looking actually at this one. They report earnings on Friday. I was thinking about,
Oh, they report this Friday, so be careful if you're
establishing
gonna put it on.
a
I own that.
position. Yeah, it's
It
looking
has
strong.
not done well around earnings. It's always sold off
Yeah.
on earnings.
So, I mean, the past few quarters, yes,
Yeah,
that's true.
yes. I've been in this since the 50s, but it's just been a long ride. And it's not cheap. Like they haven't really proven that they're an AI business. I keep
Hmm.
hearing that, but
But it looks beautiful on a weekly base, on a weekly
no.
time
But I
frame.
said that 6 months ago too. What else am I looking at? So Netflix. I'm just going to go through my list here. What else was in trends with no friends? I'm just looking through a few names here.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Here's another one to watch. Also, like
Which one?
infrastructure related, AI related, energies. So it's not just the solar, but also like all the utilities related to
Uh-huh.
energy, because obviously data centers need energy. This is why nuclear has been running hot, but then now we're seeing some of the utilities also running hot, and this one just broke out after strong earnings. Also a slower mover, but something to keep an eye on. Um, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, POWL. We've been talking about that on Trends with Friends.
Yeah,
It's a
super
trend with
hot,
no friends.
super hot. Yeah, several
It's
quarters of breakouts. Yeah.
development for person engineering practice. I don't even, dude. I mean, that's on Trends with no friends. That's just have no followers. $2 billion company. Whew,
This
10
used to
bagger.
move together with like BE and Plug, and now it has done so much better, obviously because of their earnings. But anything really clean energy related, not just solar, broke out last week, and I would pay attention for some range contraction, some new bull flags forming to get engaged again. Obviously, this is B, and then the other one is much more speculative Plug that it's still in a downtrend. But if this market really wants to play the clean energy card, this could also have some short-term
Yeah.
bursts.
And then the other one that I'm in is Coinbase. I've been back in that as a swing trade.
Yeah,
Just with the
finally
butcher
broke
guys.
out again, setting up.
Yeah, below 200, I'm probably gone, but I'm in that. Hood looks good.
Yeah,
Hood looks
definitely.
really good. No competition. Listen, I was bearish 10 points ago, but it's hard to deny that there's not going to be a competitor in this
They
new.
have plenty of competition. It's just
Well, they have
that,
competition above them in Schwab and Morgan Stanley and E-Trade, but there's no real American competition. Coinbase is stuck to crypto. And of course, there's competition, but not at the
I mean,
scale that
yeah, you
Robin
have
is
plenty. You
running
have
at.
interactive brokers. You have that other one, public.com, where you have free options trades. I mean, obviously, not too many new
Yeah, I have a
players.
public account. Yeah, interactive brokers, we've been talking about it forever. It's probably the strongest. Man, tell you what, there's just a lot. Anything on the short side, Ivan? Anything that you're looking?
I think, I mean, I'm not personally looking to short anything. Obviously, if the market loses last week's lows here, I would be taking some probably shorts or just raising cash.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I noticed that the retail sector has been really weak year to date, probably the weakest year to date,
Mm-hmm.
only up like 3%, and quite a few names were pummeled this earnings season. This is Target, Home Depot. Like a lot of those retailers are struggling of the, I don't know why. I mean, because the restaurants are doing really well as a group, but then like the department stores, retailers, most of them
Yeah.
are underperforming. And then at the same time, you have someone like Ross Stores, which, the other day I shared the 20-year chart of Ross against Macy's and Nordstrom. So
Mm-hmm.
for the past 20 years, Macy's and Nordstrom are literally flat, like no return for 20 years. Like, I mean, I don't know what dividend they pay, but I don't think it's that significant.
Well, they're shrinking, right?
At
Like,
the same
think
time,
about.
Ross Stores, which basically buys stuff that they couldn't sell and then resells it, uh,
Mm-hmm.
they're up like 20 times, like way above the S&P 500. So sometimes those simple business models have very high margins, and they end up being good long-term investments for patient people.
Yeah, and then back on the fat pills, so Lily's still all-time high. So
Oh
a
yeah,
lot working.
anything related to
The fat
weight
pills are
loss
working. Yep.
is
All right.
looking good.
All right, buddy. Enjoy the baby. Happy long weekend.
All
And
right, see you
everybody,
next week.
we'll see everybody next week.
All right, bye.